Michael, dude, thank you so much for doing this with me, man. I'm really happy to be here. From all the times I've met you, have been very pleasant experience every time I see you. Do you mind introducing yourself? What community you're from, teams, whatever name, and all that?
Yeah, I'm Michael Gobot from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm on this team, Finger Jive, so FJ.
That's
Yeah,
a dope shirt, man.
yeah. So excited to do this. Thanks, Puppet. You've been an inspirations for so long. This is really cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and Vegas is always I've always had a soft spot for Vegas. I've visited the gloving community there out in Vegas like twice, and my earliest memories of the Vegas gloving community was through John and Jamie. I'm not sure if they still glove, but I remember, and there was also a fellow. Was it Kevin Ablang or I forgot his last name? Yeah, and
Yeah.
then there were my very first experience with the Vegas community. They held a sesh for me, and it was really hype, and I really appreciated the time that they showed me that they picked me up, had a sesh. It felt literally Ninth Island, right? So and then like I had the pleasure of meeting Trevor, which who I believe is also on the finger dive, right? And he was an awesome dude as well. And I remember, I believe the reins had been taken over by him, and maybe it was you at the time. I don't know, but it felt like a completely different scene. Still loving, just different characters. So, and I believe that was around 2000. Was the Vegas group created in 2016, or was there a scene earlier than that?
So that's a great question. Okay. So what year did you just say? 2015 or 16?
16, but I get those 2 years kind of mixed up.
So I all I know is I started gloving in July 2013, and then I went to IGC that year. And when I was there, I met uh, Trevor, and he told me there's a gloving scene in Las Vegas. So that's
Hmm.
how I discovered the scene was um, meeting him at IGC in California.
Yeah.
So there definitely was already a scene in 2013 because then the first event I went to, I believe, was his birthday party in like a casino suite, and everyone's just gloving. So there was a scene. It was awesome, and yeah. As soon as I met him, I'm like, I just thought he was like the best glover I had seen. I was like, I want to be on your team. He's like, well, yeah, maybe, maybe one day, but I
Yeah.
was new, and Finger Drive was like, pretty high level team, I would say, like
Yeah.
winning a lot of competitions and stuff, traveling and stuff for competitions, and after some years of practice and yeah, really getting into the scene and getting better, I finally got on the team, and but that was already the scene was there in 2013 for sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it kind of predates like what I thought the origin of the Vegas scene was, because I believe I went to Vegas in 2015. And there I met Gummy. And I tell
Mm.
this story quite often, but like I went to the scene that John and Jamie had invited me to. I met Gummy. Gummy was like, yeah, I was honored to meet him, right? And I was like, yeah, man, it's finally an honor to meet you. And he was like, he looked at me weird. He was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I met you already. Like, I had already met you at this one event in California, and he insisted that I met him, bro. But I was like, no, man, this is like literally my first time traveling to anything gloving related. But he was like, no, no, I'm pretty sure I met you in California. But that was just one of my earliest experiences part of that scene. So okay, so your story, okay, you started in 2013, and you met Trevor in 2006. Was it 15 or 16?
No, I met him in 2013
Oh,
at
I
that
see.
National Gloving Championship. I
Yeah,
think it was
oh,
like
I
October
see.
2013, around like the LA area. And um, yeah, so he and there was already a scene. He told me, "Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
already have me and Kevin Ablang were the kind of they were the original. I think they started it pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we started the Vegas Gloving Community Facebook group in October 2015,
There we go.
and now the Facebook group has over 500 members. Um, it was very active when I was running the Global Gloving Network for Vegas. That was the
Yes.
Amazing Light thing. I don't know if you want to go in chronological order, but
No, do you mind explaining what the GGN was for people that don't know?
yeah. So Global Gloving Network was a program that Emazinglights did, where they had community leaders, and basically we got points for hosting events, and you could use the points to then purchase products to give away to the community. So what I did was I hosted one loving workshop slash meetup every month. Yeah, that happened for quite a few years. I'm just looking back now at my archives, and it looks like I started the first one in August 1st, 2017.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was actually we were even doing two a month for a while because they were so popular. We were getting so many people. Then I was doing two a month for a while, and we were racking up tons of points. When I when on the leaderboard, you could see the Global Gloving Network leaderboard, and it was only Vegas was one of the top ranked communities
Yeah.
when I was doing it. Yeah, and then we were getting. And then what I used the points for was to I would always buy lots of whites and batteries. So the way I got one of the incentives to come was the first 10 people who came got free gloves or batteries, free whites or batteries. So that incentivized people to get there early, and then they get something to take home every time. And then I would have tournaments, and I would get all the companies to donate prizes, and sometimes I would use some of the credits to buy glove sets for the tournaments and give away glove sets to the winners, stuff like that. And I just got points for doing all these things for years. I stopped for COVID. COVID is the only reason I stopped. Um, and then when the lockdown ended, I tried to bring it back, and I wasn't able to get anyone there pretty much, and I felt a little defeated, and like, I mean, I'm a lawyer. This I have a pretty busy career, and
Yeah.
a lot of responsibilities, and it's this was a pure passion project for me. I love gloving. I'm so passionate about this art. It's funny, like I got into raving and gloving in law school, like, and I had never been to a rave before. Yeah, I had never been to a rave
Interesting.
before. I was like, yeah, no, I was like just like school and studying and like pretty like not like out raving and partying. And then I went to my first rave in 2013, July 31st, Tramps Like Us, San Diego. I'll never forget, because one of the first things I saw was someone gloving, and
Wow.
I was like, what is that? And my buddy, he's like, oh, that's called gloving. I'm a glover. I'll show you. You want a light show? And I was like, yes.
Wow.
A light show, and I, my life like changed. I'm like,
Yeah.
what was that? Like, that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I went around the rave finding every glover I could. I was like, can I get a light show? Can I get a light show? I just like wanted light shows. And then finally, he's like, yo, you can like get some here. I went up to the merch place, and they had an Amazing Lights booth. I bought like a $20, cheap set. And I started just giving these light shows like in front of anyone who would watch. And they all loved it. It was my very
Yeah.
first experience of loving. And I just started getting these reactions from people who just loved the anything I was doing, and it was just so encouraging. I know a lot of people like take a long time to like feel comfortable giving their first light show. I've known people who have been gloving for like a year or two, and they're like, "Oh, I'm almost ready to like give someone a light show." Blows my mind. I was like, I was giving light shows the first hour I knew about gloving, you know. But anyway, point is that night I was like to my friend who introduced me to raving. I'm like, gloving's the coolest thing I've ever seen, and yeah, I'm just gonna get really good at this. And yeah, I've pretty much been obsessed with the art ever since. Yeah,
That was your
July
first
2000.
rave? Your first rave. Your first rave, one of your earliest experiences was gloving. Immediately you started gloving and that was your introduction to both gloving and raving. That's awesome, dude. That is so man, I got chills because, my first rave too, I got a light show and it blew my mind. Same exact story, maybe later in the night, but I didn't get a pair of gloves. But man, that is such a beautiful experience. Okay, wow. So 2013, there's already a scene, but that experience was in California, right? That experience was in
The
California.
rave,
The rave, yeah.
the rave. So yeah, we didn't have raves in Las Vegas for a long time
Oh.
because the DJs were all had exclusive contracts with the clubs and the casinos. So there
Oh.
were no raves. So all the ravers in Vegas would have to go to San Diego, LA, Arizona, like wherever, any place else. Mostly LA, San Diego. We would all go together. There was like a big rave scene at UNLV where I went to school. And even one of my fraternity brothers started a transportation company, like a busing company, to bus people to LA and San Diego for raves because there were none here. It wasn't until some years later that this company called Ravelation, I'm pretty sure they were the first. They booked Borgor. I think that was their very first show at the
Hmm.
SLS Casino pool, and he was like he didn't have a contract with any clubs. So that's how the rave scene started really popping off in Las Vegas. Was this
Wow.
company who booked like I guess like lower tier DJs who didn't have exclusive contracts to not play anywhere else but the clubs. From my understanding, that was the reason why Vegas never had a rave scene. Now we have a pretty solid rave scene.
Hmm.
We've got several companies that put together pretty big events. Top tier DJs. So it's thriving now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Sorry, we were jumping all over the place. That's really freaking interesting, man. So what were the numbers like at your earliest experience when? Let me ask you this: how many sessions were there back before GGN?
How many sessions?
Yeah, like would there be like still monthly meetups, or were there like sessions here and there from the community that would do it at the
Oh,
park or?
oh yeah. No, there were like I'm looking at our history right now, and we started the Las Vegas Gloving Community Facebook group in 2015. A
Yeah,
couple years after I joined, we had this Facebook group, which there may have been meetups before the Facebook group, but I just don't have access to that like written history. I'm kind of
yeah,
looking at the archives of our Facebook group, which goes back to 2015. But there definitely were meetups before that because I was introduced to the community at
yeah.
essentially like a birthday slash thing, and then there were some occasionally. I don't remember how they were promoted before this group, but with the group, the very first, yeah. So the very first like meetup I see in our group, we had events that were promoted. Like we were promoting in the group like the Art of Gloving, which was in LA. So we were like driving out to LA for gloving events.
Interesting.
And then we had a big. Okay, I remember this. Las Vegas Spring Open Tournament. That was like the first big tournament we had. That was March 25th, 2016. And
Wow.
yeah, so back in 2016, that was when we had a big tournament. I don't see any Vegas meetups before that, other than the Art of Gloving events in LA. But then after that, and then we would post sometimes like meetups at raves. We would do that. We would like meet up at raves. So there's posts of meetup. Let's meet up at this rave. Let's meet up in LA at this gloving event in LA. Stuff like that. But then the first actual like Glover meetup I see posted in the gloving community group was May 20th, 2016, Friday Night Lights. And
Mm.
yeah, it was by let's see,
Yeah, who hosted that?
that's what I'm looking for. It looks like Trevor Paul hosted the Las Vegas Gloving Community Spring Gloving Tournament, which was probably, in my recollection, that had to be one of the biggest like tournaments because it was promoted on Facebook, and that's when I think we really started like taking off. Desmond Cron. So Desmond Cron was
Mm.
one of the previous admins of the Las Vegas Gloving Community. Yeah, Krahn. Uh, and that was a Friday Night Lights event, and that was a show. Yeah, that was a show, and at the Hard Rock Live on the Strip, and that's the first like Friday Night Lights Glover meetup. But also that was like a show meetup.
Yeah.
Then there was things like that. Nick Delgado, he was another kind of someone who was trying to promote things back in 2016. Um, we were with yeah, 2016 I'd say is when we started doing like meetups,
Yeah.
and there was Saturday Night Lights, Thursday Night Lights. Yeah,
Wow.
2016. Oh, there was a Thursday Night Lights at Sunset Park with I Am Puppet.
Well, yeah, that
For
was it.
that,
Oh wow, yeah, Sunset Park. Okay, I never knew the name of that park, but wow, yeah, when I was there was probably like a good maybe 15 to 20 people, perhaps. Yeah. So
huh?
that Vegas, what was the date on that one again? Sorry.
Was I I 14th, 2016,
16. Yeah,
and that
2016. Wow.
and that was hosted by Jamie Lynn Orenza.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it looks like we had 24 people RSVP'd on there.
Oh wow.
And
We
yeah,
got
what's
actual
funny is
numbers.
do you like light shows? Do you like chilling at the park with friends? Do you want to be the very best that no one ever was? Well, then you're in luck. Come join us at Sunset Park July 14th for a flow session in the park featuring special guest I Am Puppet.
Yo, that's hype, dude. Wow. Did that Vegas tournament happen? That was before that comp.
I'm going in
Wow.
chronological order from the past, so now we're going forward through the archives.
Gotcha. Perfect. We're on the same the page then. Okay. So okay, who won
Yeah.
that? Who won that?
Oh, the gloving tournament?
Yeah.
Let's
Or
see.
who were the placings rather?
Yeah, let's see. LV. Okay, Las Vegas Gloving Community Spring Gloving Tournament. That was March 25th, 2016. So that was before your meetup. Yours was in July. And let's see here. I was at a vape store. And it looks like, yeah, and Kevin Ablang and Trevor Paul were the hosts, which makes sense because they were
Yeah.
like the original founders of the community. So it looks like they hosted it. And it looks like, oh, here we go, discussion. Let's see if we posted the winners in the group here. Um, no, it looks like we don't have the winners posted in the group, unfortunately.
Interesting.
No, unfortunately, we don't have the results in the group. Wonder if possibly if I look at what date that was, if I can search around that date in the group chat, maybe
Yeah.
possibly. So that was March 25th, 2016. Yeah, I don't know how to look back. Can you search date in a group?
Can you what again?
You search for a date in a group.
I think
That
you
makes
I'm not actually quite sure. I know on your phone you can. Oh no, maybe not. I know if there's like a group chat there, you could like search on your phone for like keywords like in the group chat. You could because I know on Messenger like on the web it's a little bit harder, but like on your phone you can go through like that chat and then like search for keywords on the Messenger. If not,
um
if not, that's totally fine. But that That puts
I
a lot
know.
into perspective because yeah, no, because I guess from my point of view, when I had joined, um, I knew I had met Kevin, so like my whole thing was like, okay, Kevin was the one who was hosting everything, and he seemed like he was such a nice dude. He seemed so passionate about the community. It was just kind of weird that like yeah, the next time I went, he was just completely gone. But I didn't know that Trevor was still a big part of it, even that first time that I went. So I think that's like I think that's really cool. But like yeah, if you can't find those top three placings or top four placings, it's totally fine.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I cannot find the placings. I'm searching like the name of the tournament in the group and like, um, unfortunately not finding it. But yeah, as far as Kevin, yeah, so Kevin, Control, on my team, um, he was around back then because he was posting back in March 2016 and was one of the hosts of that tournament. But I don't know really what happened to him. To be honest, I have not seen him in quite a while.
Yeah. Oh, he's on FJ too,
What, FH?
or F8.
Yes,
Oh no, finger drive, right?
on Finger Drive, FJ, and FH is his
Oh,
tag.
oh,
That's
there's
another team.
gotcha. Okay, so yeah, who were how many teams were there in Vegas around that time?
Oh man, that's a great question. I mean, I wouldn't be able to say like how many. Definitely a handful. Not
Yeah,
I wouldn't say there was dozens, but like I'd say probably there were there were around like 10 tags like for Vegas. I can like
wow.
remember from around that time. Yeah, unfortunately, since COVID, everything has kind of honestly been quiet. I definitely am happy to see Christian Valencia Prim taking the reins and very much intentionally making the mission to rebuild the Vegas gloving scene. And he's been doing these awesome monthly flow jams in parks where he brings in a bunch of DJs to DJ all day, and then different flow artists to teach different classes, and even
Yeah.
like like who Levuan, poise, staff, even yoga, and then I'm doing a nutrition class
Wow.
next the next one. Yeah, because I'm very into fitness and bodybuilding, so I'm going to be doing nutrition, and and then I'm also teaching a staff spinning class because I'm a staff spinner too. So.
Oh, sick, man! Yo, that's really awesome. Yeah, having that collaboration between different flow artists is something not even Hawaii has been successful at doing. It sounds like it's being successful right now in the Vegas scene.
I'm really impressed by Christian doing. He's really making a solid effort. I haven't seen anyone really take the reins and really make quite such a strong effort and put as much work into this since I
Yeah.
did. Honestly, back in 2000 to 20, like those like 3 years was when I was the GGN leader and doing the monthly or even sometimes bi-monthly workshops and meetups. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Gigi and like how how many like new faces would you see each sesh? Or like what were the numbers of the how many people would come during GGN like throughout those months? You said you had like two a month, right?
Oh yeah. So I stopped doing them 2 a month because I realized it was better to have one a month and be
Yeah.
more populated a month. That's what I realized. Like because one a month was so successful. I say we were I mean I would say when we were really at our peak, I remember every month pretty much being like full of people trading light shows. So like
Yeah.
there had to be like 15 to 20 people a
Yeah.
month. I mean, I had to average, I'd say around there. Definitely, there were months when probably there were more people. And you know what we called it? It was Saturday Night Lights. Occasionally, you'd get people doing other flow arts because we did say all LED props, and I would always say everyone is invited, and so we'd sometimes get people doing other yeah, Friday Night Lights. There was Nick Delgado. He did some events at his house. That was back since 2016. Yeah, I'm just like going through the archives again. Trevor Paul, my captain, artisan. He did at his house. He did some meetups. We did meetups in the park back in 2016. We had one with Ice Cream Teddy back
Oh,
August 20th, 2016. Whenever we'd have like, like a well-known Glover in town, we often do that for people. It's like a tradition out here for sure. Like we'll try to make a meetup for Glovers who want one. If they come out and they're like, we want to meet the Vegas community, we generally will make it happen for them because we love meeting out of towners. We're all very very welcoming, I'd say, here in Vegas.
have you ever connected with Royce Okazaki, Hawaii's GGN leader?
I'm not sure if I've actually met him or not. I'm familiar with him. I remember like when looking at the leaderboard, it was pretty much, if I remember correctly, it was like the GGN like communities who were actually like doing a lot and like it was like Hawaii and Vegas and Arizona, and then I think it was where does Jess live?
Minnesota.
I think it was Jess community. There was like one other community I remember really clearly that was like very very active with the GGN like point system,
Yeah.
and doing a ton. Do you remember that?
Okay, this is the thing, okay? So in Hawaii, I was one of the GGN leads, but the official one, like the one who really took over everything, was Schematics Royce Okazaki. And I got to give him a shout every single time because of him, Hawaii flourished around this time period, 2000, when GGN happened, 2016, 2017. And so when you're talking about all like the numbers and how everything was ran, having all these like giving point or giving people free gloves at the beginning is basically like how Royce functioned. It's exactly like how Hawaii did it, and it was I see a lot of basically it sounds the same thing. The amount of people, the two a month. We implemented the two a month, and we tried to do like a bi-weekly, and we found that more people would end or less people would end up going to them because they're like, hey, you know what, I could just go to the next one because there's two a month. And then what you would see was that two people would often go to this week and they'll never clash with the Glovers that came on to that second week. And then
Yeah.
it kind of divided it a little bit, and we realized this, so we're like, yeah, let's just do it once a month. And then it was good for a little bit. And it's the same exact
Yeah.
thing until COVID, right? All things stopped, and then COVID happened. Fortunately, we did have a little bit of a bounce back, but it's just not the same at all. I'm currently trying to think of new ways on how to bring the community together. Maybe it's a connective, like maybe less people are on Facebook because we have the 808 GC, which is the Facebook group. Maybe it's because less people are using that. Maybe, you know what I mean? Because I see the analytics in that group page, and I could see how much people the posts reach, and it is like 80 something people, but less than like 10% of that show up. You know what I mean? So I understand everything is a little bit more different. So I'm trying to think of ways on how to do that. But it's the same exact story. Having to travel. I mean, given we had a really big scene, we had our own like big history pre 2006, pre 2012 even. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you could compare to with Hawaii and Vegas scene. And I remember, yeah, Arizona, Vegas were like on top of it. But so I'm thinking I didn't even realize that there was like a point system in the GGN, or like maybe I'd completely forgot about it. Was that something that like was it a program that Amazing had like kind of like set this guide in telling GGN leaders like, oh, what could you do, or was it just kind of like all the GGN leaders here's some stuff and go get creative?
Are you talking about for as far as events?
Yeah, because I noticed you talked about like a GGN system, right?
Oh, just yeah, the point system.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got points for like hosting events, and I remember like you had to take a picture, and there had to be a minimum number of people, I believe, at the meetup to get the points for the meetup. And that's like all I really remember as far as how to get points was you had to meet up and there had to be at least like a certain number of people in the picture because it was very important that we got a picture at every
Yes.
meetup.
Yes.
That picture,
Well, what was that again?
remember, yeah, having to get the picture, yeah.
Yeah, bro, every single section, like, guys, make sure don't leave before we get the picture. I remember there's like tons and tons of Hawaii meetup pictures with like a bunch of people. And I remember, yeah, that just used to be a staple at every single event. Even at like we tried to do it at like thing meetups that happened at raves, at events, and that was kind of a disaster in some cases. But GGN, yeah, man, like GGN was such a great thing. Like out of all the things that Amazing did, GGN was just like one of the best ones because they had a map. They had a map on their website where it linked every like you could look at the map, click at what group to find, and I thought that is just such a valuable tool because then that is like a solution, man. Like everyone is trying to find, trying to get that interaction with people up in close, knowing where to trade. Oftentimes, there would be like multiple group pages on that map, and I'm trying to bring that map back on gloving.com right now because right now because the whole situation, all the scenes they basically died. And then so like what we're missing something. We're missing that glue to get everyone together. Everyone's all over the place. So if we can get people to like go to that map and just not even just like just to see that these communities are still alive and still trying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I'm trying to currently do with the map. But let's go into GGN a little bit deeper. Like, what did besides bringing people together, did GGN do? What did GGN do for the Vegas community?
Yeah, so I just found a post that I made in the group on January 1st, 2018. I said, Happy New Year, fam. I'm the new global gloving network leader for Vegas, and I'm excited to grow our community even more in 2018. I'll keep hosting Friday Night Lights the second Friday of each month. And I'm also planning another tournament for the spring, so be ready. I want to put Vegas on the map for gloving this year, so I really
Yeah.
appreciate all the support I've gotten from you guys for my events. And the more active our community is, the more products the Emazinglights will send me for giveaways to you guys. So thanks always for coming out. So that was January 1st, 2018. I was already quite active, like running the community, hosting these events without the GGN. But then when they started GGN, getting all those products, all those whites and batteries, and just being able to hand out a prize of whites or batteries to everyone who came in, was just so, I don't know, it was nice. I don't know if it made more people come or not. But like also the prizes for the tournaments was nice, being able to order glove sets to give away. Yeah, it was I think I mean, that's, I mean, and then also I do think probably the map was useful. I remember like one of the things I'm most proud of as a leader was the boss tournaments I hosted actually.
Yeah.
You know the boss tournaments, and one of the ways I was able to sell those out, and those were tough to sell out because there
Yeah.
had to be 32 people. That's tough. You're not going to get it just from Vegas. At least maybe, yeah, maybe not. Maybe other communities have 32 people who are willing to sign up for a tournament, but Vegas I don't think did. We needed support from other communities. So the map they provided of all the GGN leaders, that was, like you said, very helpful. That linked us all together. And then what I did was I made a list of all the Facebook groups for all the communities in the neighboring states. So Arizona, Utah, uh, California, and I would always promote my boss tournaments to them and get a lot of people from all those neighboring states. Not, I mean, at least a couple, usually from each neighboring state, that would help me sell out those tournaments. So
Yeah.
I think that cohesion. I mean, it was a network, right? Global Gloving Network. It was
Yeah.
to bring us all together into this network. I think it worked. the prizes were definitely nice and made us feel like valued. I think it made us all feel like we were a big company, like cared about our little community and us hanging out and like having fun. And I think just the morale was high because of the support, maybe. So it was really it was a good thing. And I think I was sad to see it go. I had so many whites and batteries. Even after it ended, I was still able to give out products till the very last meetup I ever did. I kept that program going of giving out the free whites or batteries, even after they stopped the program. So
Yeah, that's really awesome of you, man. I remember we just had a huge surplus in our GG, and they was just here you go, here you go, here you go. Like I could only imagine how many, being at the higher. I'm not sure how many more like care packages the some of the higher ranked GGN communities had. I don't know if it was like if it was people on that higher on that list got more. But I remember, man, Hawaii Royce always was loaded, bro. His trunk
yeah,
loaded. But like, okay,
yeah.
I kind of want to jump into a little bit of the competitions because it's how many competitions has there been in the Vegas scene? Because I noticed you mentioned at least maybe three so far.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the first one I mentioned to you was what day was that first tournament? I said the spring Las Vegas. Right, our first one we have posted. That was 2016. That was our spring gloving tournament. Um, and then just going through the archives of events. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember now. Then the next one was our Las Vegas Winter Classic. That was Friday, December 16th, 2016, and we did March for the spring, and then we did December for the winter in 2016. And let me take a look and see if we posted the results in that page because I could not find the results going through the group. It's possible that if I scroll back long enough, I can like message you the results of all these tournaments. If I look
Yeah.
back and like scrolling through the discussion, it probably would take longer than we have here. But
No, it's totally
I could
okay.
mess.
Yeah, please do. The reason why I ask is because when I think about the Vegas gloving community, there isn't really one person that stands out. I think about a bunch of different people. There was, I guess, at least from my perspective, it didn't seem like was there ever like a superstar in the Vegas gloving community, for lack of better terms, like like a top dog, or like maybe the same top dogs, or was it very balanced in terms of skill level?
I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think that like the Glovers on my team were winning. I mean, we were a tournament team. We won a
Yeah,
lot of tournaments here and in other states.
yeah,
Um, I mean, in 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 my opinion, I think that my team captain Trevor Paul
yeah,
Artisan
yeah,
is the best Glover from Vegas. That's that's my honest opinion. He blew me away from the very day I got a like show from him back at IGC 2013, and still to this day, every time I see that guy glove, I'm like, you are like one of the, not just in Vegas. This guy is amazing.
yeah.
Have you, are you, do you know Trevor Paul? Have you seen his
Yeah,
gloving
I've traded with
artisan?
him. I've hung out with him a couple times. I believe I met up with him during Vegas one time. Yeah, and I remember. I think because when I think back to like in terms of just skill, he's the guy that's at the top for the Vegas scene. I just never
Yeah.
really heard of any other. I guess like I always think about him. There wasn't really any talk about like the top dogs, I guess, in Vegas, and I never understood why. And I knew
Mm,
FJ was probably the team to do it, right? There was never really a lot of talk of like, let's say, like boss winners or the Vegas winter classic, right? So I always wondered like what was up with that, like. Is it just simply because everyone is so balanced there, or is it just like a lack of, I guess, posting or getting the word out there?
Honestly, I think it's more of a lack of posting. Like, cause
Yeah,
we have Glover. mean, we have glovers out here that, yeah, I mean, I would say are at the same level as any
Yeah,
of the glovers. Like, I just think that we don't have any glovers out because, like, yeah, because like I don't really think like my team. I wanted my team to put our stuff out there. I wanted to like
absolutely.
gain notoriety, and like I wanted to show the larger gloving world what Vegas has for talent and my team. I was always proud of Finger Jive, and I still am. Even though we haven't really met up in a while. No, the gloving scene is a bit dead, and even with my team, unfortunately. Hopefully, it's coming back. I'm ready for the comeback with Christian doing his thing. I'm excited for that. I'm going to support him any way I can. But yeah, no, they're I like I said, I'm biased, but Christopher Duke, also on my team, he won an Arizona tournament. He won a big Arizona boss tournament, I believe. A lot of my team drove out. I remember that. A lot of my team drove out for an Arizona boss tournament. Arizona is such an amazing community. I think they were top of the GGN leaderboard. If I remember correctly,
Hmm.
I think they were the number one team. I think, but I remember they were one of the top ones. And Arizona and Vegas are very close.
Hmm.
We have close ties. We always support each other. Several Vegas Glovers will always go to their tournaments, and then a lot of them will always come to ours. So I have some very good connections with the Arizona scene. And so yeah, I remember we all went out to that, and yeah, my teammate Christopher Duke also he won a tournament out there. I'd say he's one of the best in Vegas, but also doesn't really post that much.
Yeah.
Artisan Trevor doesn't post that much. I don't post that much.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. I don't know why we don't. Yeah, I think it's more of that. I think it's just
Yeah.
that we don't share what we have, unfortunately. So maybe the Vegas scene doesn't get noticed. But absolutely, we I think we have the same talent as any other community.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And how many bosses were there in total?
Three.
Three. Wow. And do you remember do you have the years or the months?
So if I go back through the archives, they'll all be here. Yeah, if you bear with me here. So Las Vegas Winter Classic, that was December 2016. Unfortunately, also results not posted in that event. Should have how like in retrospect that would have been smart. Post the results in the event page. Um, Moving on. Next tournament. I'll make sure we post those results in the
Please.
event page.
People
I
have to know,
promise.
man. People have to know that there is talent in Vegas, man. Like I have a soft spot for Vegas, but like I see no posts about them, and it's kind of like for me, I don't know. There's a lot of like Glovers out there who are very humble. And maybe this isn't like a humble thing, but like a part of me wishes like for Glovers, like man, you know what, like just post your accomplishments. It isn't even like an ego thing, it's the truth. Like if you're like a good glover, you're a nice kind person, people want to see you talk about your wins. People want to they want to know the accomplishments that you've done. And I wish some glovers would do that more, because it shows to the world that there is this level of gloving, right? I'm not sure what the views are on some of these glovers, but it's like it's not an egotistical thing to pat yourself in the back and post, "Hey, look, I won this thing." You know what I mean? Just to kind of make it feel more official to people who don't understand. Like, what? There's like competitions for this thing? How does it work? And people will start to get invested, right? They'll think like they'll put it higher on their list of credible things to do, because apparently gloving is such an odd art form and people think it's stupid, it looks funny, it looks weird. Like, why would you even, it's like cup stacking. You might see cup stacking and be like, what the heck is that? But I mean, there's a thing there. There's competition. There's a social aspect. It's much bigger than just, oh, look what I'm doing, right? But yeah, it would be really cool to see some of that statistics, I guess, to see, or the achievements that Vegas has had in the past. But so have any of the boss placements been placed or
Um,
sorry, posted?
I'm going through the tournament history. We have another tournament that was on March 31st, 2017. That was called FNL tournament. So I think just for one of our Friday Night Lights, we decided to have a tournament. And I see a post um, from Anthony Knight, who was I think the leader of the Arizona scene pretty much. He said 3 cars full of us about an hour and 15 minutes out mobbing from Arizona. That was from New, the team New, and
Yeah.
he was K-Tune on that team. Yeah, so we had a bunch of people from Arizona come out. Unfortunately, of course, results not posted. I'm gonna have to look through the group and just scroll back, and I'm sure I posted the results in the group discussion, but I
Yeah.
can't like search by date. So that but I will message those to you. Maybe you can do an addendum to
Yeah,
this.
I wonder if there's like a. Do you remember what was used to make the bracket, or maybe some people talk maybe challenge. Maybe challenge was a choice of a bracket maker because I used to use challenge for some reason. I
I
stopped
did.
using it.
I did. I did use Chalon.
Oh, there we go.
Did I did use challenge. And oh, and that FNL was at my house actually, March 31st, 2000. We had one tournament at my house. That was a fun one. So yeah, you mean if I look at challenge, if I can still log in, it might show the results.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I logged into my challenge recently because I was looking at old GL comps, and I look at that list, bro. There's like almost 20 comps, almost 20 comps that I've done.
Really?
That was from like 2017 or 2015 to like 2018 ish, and it's crazy because it's like I forgot about some of these competitions and like. I gotta give myself a pat on the back for being like, hey, yeah, puppy, like you actually like made the bracket, like you can see like all the final results. So it's like, I didn't get lazy with the picking out the winner. So it's like I'm kind of happy that I remember to do that. So it's like, man, because it's like I think back about it's like so valuable, that history, you know what I mean? Even though they were small stuff, it was still part of what the community did. It was what brought people together.
Ultimately, it really is a good archive of the top glovers were throughout the past, 11, 10, 10, 11 plus years. So definitely it's something that I'm going to put some research into. I'm actually going to open, yeah, challenge now and see if I can still log in, because you're absolutely right. The results of the boss tournaments should be there.
Yeah, perhaps. I hope that they are. Um, but okay, do you remember when the last competition was?
Um, Hold on one sec.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
I'm not sure when the last one was, but oh, here we go. I'm able to log. It looks like I'm able to log into challenge. So,
Let's go.
we're getting someplace. Challenge. Let's see if I. Oh, hell yeah, they're all here.
Let's
Whoa.
go.
Good move, buddy. Smart. We got it all here. Okay, so first one was Boss Las Vegas 2018. Let's go. What? This up? Organized by Gobot. Okay, we started, yeah, July 7th, 2018 at 6 p.m. It was a 5-round tournament.
Wow.
Okay, we had 32 people compete.
Yup.
I have the results with their scores from every round. Damn, that's perfect. This is what
Wow.
we need. Okay, wait a second. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, okay. Oh, wait. Is it like, no? My computer is like not. Okay, hold on. So we got round 1, all the scores. And then round 2, all the scores. Was this a single elimination?
Yeah, I would
I just
imagine double elimination in a gloving comp would be crazy long.
interesting. You know, that's weird. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it doesn't have a winner. It just has a ranking from 1 to 32
Okay.
of their score. But
Hmm.
points different. It has okay. So it has listed as so 1 through 6 all won 2 rounds with 0 ties and 0 losses. Um, so I can give you that.
Wait,
There's
that sounds
60.
like Swiss.
I think it was Swiss. It was a Swiss tournament. It was. The format was Swiss.
And it probably got put into a bracket after the Swiss.
It might have, and maybe that was done on paper or something because it
Yeah.
basically stopped for 3 rounds. I think we did 3 rounds of scoring, and then how does Swiss work again?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So how Swiss worked in Boss was that basically you're paired up with any random person round one, right? So everybody accumulates their score. It honestly didn't matter who it was round one. And then
Right.
round two, you're paired up with somebody who had a similar score, right? And then they
Right.
do that. And then round three, again, same thing. They paired up somebody with a similar score, and the top, I believe, maybe eight, the top eight scores move on into the bracket, and it would make sense to do that on paper because
Right.
I believe it even in Hawaii we had to do that on paper. But just out of
Yeah.
curiosity, who were the top six scores on that list?
Okay. Yeah. There you go. I can give you the top 8. Yeah.
Sure.
And actually, now that I think that had to be what happened because like I'm pretty sure I remember this first boss, and this was I think the top 8, the final like pairs. So it went Merlin, Elfo, and Elfo Christopher Duke. That's the guy that I said won that Arizona contest
Yeah.
boss once. And then there was Mumbles,
What?
um, Merc. Yeah, Mumbles and Merc. They came out here, I think, for a couple bosses. I think so. I remember they at least 1 or 2. And then there was Riptide, and then Dash Pez, Anti Pez, who's also on my team. That's Jordan. Um, and then we have it's SVTRO. I don't know if that's Satro.
Maybe. I remember V's used to be A's a lot in that time period.
Yep. And then Biometric, who is
Wow.
from
Yeah.
Arizona.
Rashawn. Yeah. Cool, man.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
I'm wondering maybe, I
And
mean, right off the top of my head, I look at this list and I would imagine that Mumbles may have one, or maybe even Merc. I would love to know that standing one day if you can find it.
yeah, possibly they probably would know
Sick.
if they won a Vegas boss comp. I think one of them probably I think one of them probably did win one at some point. But the thing is, do you know the other Glovers on here?
So I don't, because I mean I only know Riptide. I know Biometric now. I've seen Alpha's name quite a bit, but I was never really around 2018. What was I doing in 2018? I think like at that point in gloving, like I'm kind of just chilling. I forgot what the Evos came out, but like I just stopped. I was gloving, but I wasn't really paying attention. You know?
No, but I think again it goes back to the Vegas community, no one knowing us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're Mumbles and Merc are like famous Glovers, but
Right.
like that is a stacked list for Vegas and Arizona. Like that's some of the top
Yeah.
talent between Arizona right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just no one really knows about us because we're not sponsored by Emazinglights and we're not posting content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're uh undercover heat out
Low
here.
key heat, bro. Hey, you can't be sleeping on Vegas, bro. Man, yeah, dude. I wish we could go back in time and somehow make it more public, man. That would have been so cool. But okay, so that
Oh,
was
wait a second, bro, I found the top eight. It was in challenge.
oh
I got
sick.
it. I got the. I got it. Okay, yo, this is dope. Okay, so round one. Okay, so this is the July 8th, 2018. That was the date of the tournament I just gave you, right? July 8th,
July.
2018. That ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I got the top eight, and it looks like the top eight that I gave you. I don't know why that did not end up being the top eight. It may have been most likely there were some ties, and then so we probably did like a tiebreaker if there were
Yes,
tied scores.
yes.
That's probably what happened. So this is actually the top eight. It was Mumbles versus Hypnotoad, and Mumbles won. And then it was Story Time, who is on my team, Bailey versus Merc, and Merc won that. So Merc went up against Mumbles in the semifinals.
Wow.
And then Antipez versus Merlin, and Antipez won that. And then Artisan, who's my captain, Trevor Paul, versus Biometric from Arizona, and Artisan won that. So then in the semifinals, we had Mumbles versus Merc. Mumbles won. And then we had Artisan and Antipez, my two teammates, up against each other. Artisan won. So we had my captain against Mumbles. First boss. And the winner was Mumbles.
Dang. Yo, that
Artisan got second, and Antipez got third, and Merc and Antipez were tied for third.
Yeah. No, that's I'm listening to the story of the comp, and obviously, you got to root for the underdog. It's not surprising that Mumbles won. Do you know what the scores were? Can you see the scores?
Ooh. Oh yeah, I can. Wow.
How close was it?
It looks like I didn't put the scores for the final round, but in the round before that, Mumbles got 26 points, Artisan got 25.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That could have been easily a 1 point difference.
I absolutely think Artisan is on the same level. I mean, Artisan, like I said, I think he's one of the best glovers to come out of Vegas, and is up there with any of the elite like names that you can think of. I mean, in my opinion, it's subjective, but and maybe I'm biased. I mean, Artisan was like my gloving mentor. He like helped me get good enough to be on his team, because from the day one when I started, I'm like, I want to be on your team. You're the best glover I've seen, and he like kind of mentored me into everything that I was missing and everything I needed to learn to be good enough, for finger drive. And yeah, so I'm very biased. I respect him a lot and appreciate what he did and where he got me a lot. So but yeah, so that was our first boss.
Yeah, that sounds so fun, man. Yeah, and I miss Trevor, man. Every time I was with him too, he was just a pleasure to be around. Super funny guy, super chill guy, and really talented. Okay, so what? So 2000. So were there perhaps two bosses in after 2018, like two bosses in 2019? Yes.
We had the next one in 2019. Do you want to know just the top 8 for that
one? Give me the top 3 for both.
3. Let's take a look. Top 3. I can give you the top 4. We got the semifinals.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe there wasn't a third place round.
No, there wasn't. I don't think we did that. So Elfo versus Mumbles again. I knew Mumbles came back. Yeah. Wow. So Elfo versus Mumbles again, and then Boo Boo from Arizona versus Merc. So Mumbles and Merc were back in the semifinals. Merc won that semifinals, and Elfo won. So then we had Elfo versus Merc, and Elfo again was the guy I said, like, probably from Vegas, in my opinion, probably one of the other top guys out of Vegas also on my team. So Elfo went up against Merc. Put the winner? Come on, Mike. I didn't put the winner in challenge, it looks like. That sucks. I'll bet they would know. I'll bet Merc and Elfo would know.
Let me know.
I can figure this out and get back to you. We need an addendum to this.
Yeah, also, that's a huge, I mean, just right off the bat, that's a huge Merc win. That's a huge, that's like a career-defining win, in my opinion. Like, beating beating Mumbles as Merc, like Merc beating Mumbles there, that's actually pretty huge. But if Alpha won against Merc, then that's even bigger, right? That's like
Right.
crazy, actually, how serious of a win that is.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Alpha won that tournament.
Yeah,
Alpha, have you seen Alpha's gloving? Do you know Christopher Duke?
I don't think I've seen a show from Christopher Duke Duke. I think I've seen the
Yeah, Christopher
name.
Duke.
I think I've seen the name.
Absolutely. I think yeah, one of the top glovers in Vegas. Definitely in that era was at the top of his game. Always really impressed me. Um, so yeah, that would be really good to figure out if Elfo or Merc won that second boss.
Let me know with that, and then who are the last boss top three?
Okay, third boss comp that we did out here. And this one was August 24th, 2019. So I guess we did have two in 2019.
That's crazy, man.
Wait,
To
what
have just two bosses
was
in 1 year.
the date of the last one? Did I tell you the date of the last one?
Oh no, I don't. You said. Sorry, I think later in 2019. You said right.
That one was February 23rd, 2019. That was the second one.
Okay, what was the third one?
February 20. Okay, the second one was February 23rd, 2019. And then the third one, final one I did, sold out 32 person, was August 24th, 2019. Wow. I was trying to do them twice a year. Now I remember. That's why I did February, and then I did. That's what happened. And then
Yeah.
COVID happened. That's why I probably didn't do another one in 2000.
Oh, that
I
makes
was
sense.
I was so excited and dedicated to just putting the Vegas scene on the map and getting everyone to come out to Vegas and see what we had. Doing these boss comps was so fun. And the only downside was that I didn't get to compete. That was always one of the things that it's a sacrifice of being a leader, right? Sometimes you
Right.
don't get to have much fun.
Nope.
I drove out and I competed in the Arizona competition, so I always got to compete in those bosses. That
Yeah.
was my way to get into the competing. So this third one, August 24th, 2019, semifinals, 2D. It's like 2
Oh.
dash
Yeah.
D versus Elfo again in the semifinals.
Wow.
And then we had Stitch, who is also on my team, Jordan, another Jordan on my team, and versus Recon. You know, though, do you know Recon or Stitch or 2D?
I know 2D. I don't know Stitcher Recon.
Okay, so yeah, then it looks like 2D beat Elfo.
Wow.
So, and then we have Stitch on my team beat Recon. So it looks like we had 2D versus Stitch, and of course I didn't put the winner.
I imagine because I know exactly that feeling, and this is what I mentioned previously. I was like, yeah, I gotta pat myself on the back for actually finishing the bracket because grand finals happens and you're celebrating, right? You're done. The job's
Yeah, but
done.
that's like, let's get those scores. In 5 years, I'm gonna be interviewed by Pup, and he's gonna need to know. I wasn't thinking that we were partying.
Yeah, no, that is totally okay, man. But wow, dude, that's really cool, and it seems like yeah, Alpha was probably safe to say at that time period before COVID, probably the top dog in Vegas at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as like tournament performance,
Yes.
you had Elfo and Artisan, and then
Yeah.
Stitch. Stitch made it to the finals there, and he may have won that
Yeah.
last one. So yeah, and also on my team. So that's why I was saying like I'm biased, but like I think Finger Jive was like had essentially like the most winning like tournament winners.
Absolutely. Right.
If you equate that to skill or talent or whatever,
Of
then yeah,
course.
some of those guys, I think were always some of the top in Vegas. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really, it's just it's so sad just to just from my point of view that like it didn't seem that like Vegas really had the limelight for too long. I would always hear about like these Glovers like doing well, right? But I mean, given like maybe it's part of it is just because I maybe wasn't paying attention. But I wish there was even maybe it could have been done through Amazing. I don't know because I remember they were just posting the names of like the winners of bosses, right? And then that was about it. They would update the rankings. But I wish there was a little bit more that went into highlighting these winners, like a montage, something that really showcase these Glovers, like show their faces. Yeah, I might see their names, but I don't know their faces, and I think that's a problem. I think that's a you. I think I mean, well, you couldn't really. Not every scene has a video guy. It's not like Amazing could have sent paid video people to document the whole event or whatever, right? I mean, that you can't really blame anyone for that, honestly. I just wish that that we didn't know that today was gonna happen. We didn't know that what was gonna happen in the gloving scene a year after that. So it's I feel like that it's just it seems like a bigger problem now because of the whole COVID thing. But awesome. I kind of want to jump into a little bit about styles. Did Vegas have like a signature style?
Hmm, that's a great question. That's a great question. Hmm. I can't say that I can think of like a Vegas style. I can think of definitely some things that like, I think Vegas certain Glovers like really really brought into like really excelled at and kind of were some of the best in certain styles.
Yeah.
Like for example, Prim Christian, some of the best clusters I've ever seen. Also, Joshua Gonzalez, for clusters. Those two guys, some of the best clusters I've ever seen. Um, yeah, Joshua Gonzalez and Christian Valencia. For clusters, they were top of the game in my
Is
opinion, from
Josh
what
on
I've been seeing.
TikTok? Are we talking? Maybe we're thinking about the same Josh. Maybe is he on TikTok?
Joshua Gonzalez. I'm not sure, but he goes by Sterling, and now I believe Sterling, and now he does a lot of Puppy Hammer. He does mostly Puppy Hammer videos, like the long string with like poi but connected in the middle.
Oh, though, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Interesting. Yeah.
This is one string with lights on the end. So he does a lot of Puppy Hammer now, but yeah. So and then Jordan Antipez, he was one of the best impactors in the
Yeah.
game, I'd say. Impacting, he was fire. Trevor Paul, I think, was really, really amazing at tutting. Just his tutting was pretty unbelievable. Um, I'd say that for me even I think that I really have taken like a full body approach that a lot
Yeah.
of people have recognized in my gloving as being one of the glovers who's really taking like a full body dance approach because now I mean my Instagram doesn't even say glover, it says dancer.
Yeah.
My and then my full page is called Gobot Dance.
Yeah.
So gloving made me a dancer. I remember at the very first International Gloving Championship, I met one of my best friends now, Mitch Kaufman, who goes by Where's Wanderer. And he got in the top 8 at that first IGC. And I asked, how long have you been gloving? You're amazing. And he's like, oh, about a couple of days now. And I'm like, what?
What? That's a liar.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh yeah, I just discovered these gloves, these like light glove things, and like just started putting them on and seeing what this is all about. Yeah, I'm like, well, like your gloving is like futuristic. It's next level insane, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm a finger stylist. I've been doing finger styles for years.
Oh.
I think like figure out to put lights on. That's cool. Like I love it. Like you're doing finger styles. You know, I'm like
Yeah.
what's that?" He introduced me to the whole world of finger styles dance. And that was just a few months after I discovered gloving in 2013. So like a few months later, I realized gloving is actually an evolution with a long history in dance,
Yeah.
and it's dance. And I was like, wait, I'm dancing.
Yeah.
This is I've never been a dancer. Like I've always been very afraid of the dance floor, and like I don't do that. Like I'm very shy and a wallflower. You know, I did not like going to places with music and dancing. You know, the only reason I even kept raving was because of the gloving. I didn't like dancing. I didn't even like electronic music for years. I actually hated the music for like the first few years. I was like, this music sucks, but the gloving is great. But anyway, um, so my point is that from very early on, I identified first as a dancer, then as a glover, and so when I was practicing gloving and studying gloving, I was always studying, Hadoken, Tiny Love,
Mm-hmm.
Jules, who was a glover who also became more of a finger stylist. These guys who really focus on dance and full body movement. And so that's why I see myself as a dancer first. And my gloving is an extension of my dancing. So
Yeah.
I try to incorporate my full body. I try to stand up in shows and now I incorporate yoga and all these kinds of things with my fitness. I'm trying to incorporate all my whole life and personality and other things I do into my light show. Now I do juggling and I call it glugling. So I bring the balls in, and yeah, I
Cool, bro.
call
Yeah.
it juggling. So I don't know. That's something that like I think that I'm bringing to the scene. But as far as Vegas having its own style, I don't know. We all kind of bring different things. I'd say.
Yeah, that's really cool. It shows how versatile the whole scene is. And that's definitely something that you would see, yeah, way more within this time period, let's say 2016, 2018. That's where that was a huge explosion in different styles like around that time because people were starting to implement more clusters, people were starting to implement more different like patterns, right? We kind of figured out like all the different, I guess, micro concepts. But like, yeah, I wonder what Vegas scenes looked like in 2013, 2011 though. That's something that I think that I would want to connect with Trevor about because yeah, there's a big in terms of concepts, there's a big like change in 2010 in California because people are starting to get into digits, morphing, higher levels of impacting, right? And then like 2015, 2016 comes along, then there's clusters, there's more diagonals, like different, like crazy, like more refined versions of morphing and impacting. That definitely checks out. It's cool. It basically just follows the internal timeline that I have in my brain that it would be a lot of variety at this time. So that's really cool. Oh man, well, I was gonna ask you something, but I lost my train of thought. About the gloving dance type thing. I don't care what anyone says. Gloving is dancing. We are moving our bodies. We're moving our hands to music. Doesn't matter how stupid you look. Doesn't matter as long as you're feeling that and it makes you want to move. That, in my opinion, is dancing. And I love what you mentioned. Shout out to all the other finger stylists. You said you watched Tiny Love, Hadouken, right? Maybe even a little bit of guys from Japan, right? Like
Oh
Nari,
yes.
Ryoga,
Yo, X Trap. They
X
came to
Trap.
Vegas. They came to Vegas. I let them perform in my community center, and I
Yo,
hung out with. They were in Vegas. We went around and we shot content together. Ryoga, Nari, all of them. They're amazing. I
that's
love those guys.
crazy. Yeah, no, that's awesome. But it does bring a different, I guess, perspective. And this is something that like I've always had in the back of my head. I'm sure a lot of other older glovers had in the back of their head. But then when you join gloving, right, it's like you can see the history through the lens of just gloving, like, you know, because watching California, like you grew up watching guys like AO, PM, LOL, all those other guys, all the newer teams from all the other states start to come more up to light, right? But then there's also the finger stylists that so arguably some people would be like, hey, that's not gloving, right? Like with liquid dance or digits, right? Or like Vulcan tech gospel with poi, like flails, like knowing how to do all these different like tiny loves. He's like a master in digits, right? So it's like people tend to forget that gloving is an umbrella to many different styles out there. We are not the first ones to implement digits or tutting, bro. Like, we took from other art forms, and that is totally okay. Without them, gloving wouldn't be where it was today. Without digits, gloving wouldn't even become a thing. And then so I think it's important for people to look up or do their research on the history of these finger styles, because in the end, this is all hand art. This is all hand
Yeah.
movements, not just gloving, right? And so it's important to recognize that and to learn from those teachings as well, because some of those teachings predate gloving, back earlier to gloving, 1990s, right? And I thought that that's instantly what I thought about when you mentioned those people. But yo,
Yeah.
Michael, anyway, bro, I think, yeah, we have been going for a pretty long time. I think we are running on time. My camera battery is about to die. Do you have any? We could do this again. Maybe there's a couple things that we kind of missed. I'm more than happy to do another one with you, brother. It's really cool that you have like a whole archive. We can pick it back up whenever you have free time, sometime in the future. Do you have any last things that you would want to, I guess, say to all the viewers who are gonna watch this video?
I was the last thing I wanted to say that I found is actually my first Friday Night Lights was August 11th, 2017. That's when I started it. I don't know if I told you that, but that's when I said I'm going to start doing these monthly meetups. So that's just like a timeline thing I wanted to throw in there that I just found. And
Absolutely.
then other than that, um, you know, Vegas is awesome. Come out, join the Las Vegas gloving community. Ask, post that you're in town and you want to hang out with us, and we'll probably host a meetup for you. You know, we love introducing the scene to everyone in the world, and very welcoming. If we can't do a meetup, usually you'll find a few glovers who will probably hang out with you, show you the strip, get some cool videos in front of some casinos. It's a lot of fun out
Yeah.
here. So yeah, come check us out. And thank you, Puppet. As far as someone who's like really trying to revitalize the scene, there's no one else I can think of who's putting in the work as much, and just like that I personally love your gloving. I just want to say that
Thank you, man.
I'm a big fan of Puppet gloving. So keep doing what you're doing, and
Absolutely.
thank you so much for interviewing me and caring about my community that I love so much and care so much about. And I really hope to see the Vegas community revitalized, and the larger gloving community revitalized with you and other people who are working on that. So it's beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you're the glue, man. You're the glue. You're the guy who made everything happen, bro. And I see that you were such a passionate individual. I'm really glad that the Vegas community had someone like you to host all these sessions, to provide a platform for all the Vegas, bro. Like, you are an MVP in my book, man. I'm really glad to be able to have to talk to you. And where can Glovers, for future Glovers, maybe they're in Vegas, what is the group page for one last time? The group page that they can join?
Las Vegas gloving community. And then feel free to hit me up. You can add me on Facebook or Instagram, Michael Gobaud. So Michael like golf, O B like boy, AUD like dog. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, and I'll try to make it happen for you.
Let's
You know,
go.
I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm leading the scene anymore. Christian Valencia is the new guy. I'm rooting for him and supporting him, but I'm here for anybody still. I'm always here for gloving. It's gonna be a part of me till I die. So
That's freaking awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. One last time, thank you, bro. Thank you for coming out. Have a great weekend, man.
thank you, man. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
Peace.